It's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective. It's my perspective. Yeah, yo, am I wrong or is it just you? Or did my life show me some things that gave me my view? And if I went through what you went through, would I be you? I don't know. That's too many questions with no answer, but plenty chances for many lessons. Am I willing to learn that it's all perception? That the picture that I paint ain't the one that you sketching? So can we disagree without drawing a weapon? Long as I can understand that it's just your perspective. Yeah, it's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to My Perspective Friday. And on the cast, we have Sake.
Don't you
Don't give him a heart attack.
Hey, I ain't using no more money.
I've had my drink.
So today's topic is going to be Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. We all understand that the trial ended and Johnny Depp had countersued Amber Heard for $100 million. However, the jury reached a verdict on June the 1st, and they found that unanimously that Amber Heard had defamed Depp and awarded him $5 million in punitive damages and $10 million in compensatory damages. However, they did award Amber Heard $2 million in compensatory damages in the counterclaim, but nothing in the punitive damages.
She wanted 100. So that tells you a lot.
Well, yeah. So yeah, she wanted 100. Somebody wanted 50, and we kind of looked at this case from beginning to end, and it seems like it probably started the day that they started working together on that one movie. But I'm gonna leave it open. So I'm going to start with Fook. What do you think?
Well, Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard $50 million, and Amber Heard countersued $100 million.
Let's get it right. There you go.
Idiot.
I just think, I feel like Amber Heard have some truth. I'm pretty sure Johnny Depp wasn't the greatest husband. It's just that, it's the fact that she didn't have concrete evidence,
I just think it's two toxic people put together just don't make a great thing.
Okay. Well, there's a difference between him not being the ideal person and him actually inciting violence, or inciting domestic abuse. There's a difference between he wasn't the best husband to he put my hands on me. That's a whole
right.
But can you make up a cavity search for cocaine?
No. Stop. So that's the danger. We take these little things that the person who has been proven pathological liar, and we take it. The thing I got out of it the most is it's hurting. It lets the wrong people celebrate. Men who have been saying, don't believe these women, they're celebrating, and women who have been victimized are in pain. Because when you have someone who goes out of their way to do this type of stuff and paint the picture, everyone that he's dated has said, yes, he loves his drugs. He'll tell you that too.
Right.
Yes,
He's very honest about that part.
Right. The one thing everybody who's been in a romantic environment with him will say, he is the last person to ever put his hands on you. The first thing he does when he has confrontation, they said he runs to the room.
Right.
Exactly.
Disengages.
Right.
Her problem is he over embellished too much. Sometimes once you're believed, leave it alone. But the extra she kept tacking on and started what made people start coming out of the woodworks. Go, wait a minute.
And on top of that, it makes it harder for the believe women train. It makes it harder, and unfortunately, but that's how it's going to be looked at. The next time somebody comes forward with domestic, abuse or whatever, it's going to be are you for real? And it's situations like this that they have to blame for it.
That's the part I hate the most.
So do you believe?
And also the part that my thing is, because I have male children and female children, right? And she has some violent streaks in her, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, you can expect some people to react a certain way when it comes to impulses, like I'm trying to protect myself. And everything that I was hearing mostly was she's coming at him and he's trying to, like you say, disengage. He was like, I'll move her, try to get away from her. And she still continues on. After a while, somebody has a tolerance level. So what are you doing? Trying to provoke someone to do something so you have something to say? You have to be very careful in your actions, because when people need space, give them space. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. So a lot of times I feel like she kept going.
What extremely bothered me were, like, you know, the voice recordings of her going like, oh, I wasn't like slapping you. I didn't punch you. I hit you, as if like those were like completely different things. Like as if, you know, you're trying to like rationalize one part. Yes. You know, not like it's domestic abuse is a domestic abuse. I don't care who it is.
Or the most damning one is nobody's going to believe you.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the one. That's the one that hurt the most, because you want to believe, because women have been abused, whether it's sexually or physically, by so many people for so long, and not being able to say something. They used to do it when I was trying to be a psychologist a long time ago. They would put us in these rooms and there would be 100 women, and they'll say, raise your hand if you've been touched inappropriately at any point in your life or assaulted by a male and you didn't tell anybody. And damn, 70% of the room, the hands go up.
Right.
So do you believe that lawyers is going to use this case as a landmark? You know, when they're
like a reference point.
Exactly. It's like they're going to be like 2022 Depp versus Heard, this, and this, and they will use this as a landmark or as support and documentation to support that. Hey, this woman may be lying against it.
No, because they can only use it legally when they're trying to. They can use it two ways. They can use it publicly when they're trying to talk about their client and saying, "Hey, remember the Johnny Depp case? Let's wait for all the facts." They can do that publicly, which is what people are supposed to do anyway.
Right.
What?
That's why you research your case.
There's not much to cite in the case unless it's particularly pertained to that specific case. In terms of the thing they will use, where she messed up the most was the judge said before the case, no prior relationship information can be used. That was actually a benefit for Amber, because she was the only one that had a domestic abuse in a previous relationship caused by her. All Johnny Depp's people were saying, even the ones that had that divorced him and the exes, were saying, he's the most loving person I've ever had. We just didn't get along because of many other reasons. So it would have benefited Johnny to use prior relationships. Once she mentioned that he pushed Kate Moss down the stairs, and that lawyer went, yes!
I'm sorry.
And that lawyer celebrated. Did anybody?
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I seen it. He was like, yes.
Yes, because now they're
getting the door.
To the stand, and that was one of her 90,000 mess ups.
Yeah, you open the door to something, it's wide.
It's open, and now you're up to the court of public opinion at this point.
You know why that happened, though? It's that thing that I said earlier. When people are, this is the thing where you always can tell about someone who's lying and telling the truth. When you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything, and liars tend to keep tacking on stuff.
Right.
They're never satisfied.
How do you do that?
Yeah, and I got this little thing on my Instagram. Actors that act sometimes forget their role, forget their lines. So, so we are talking about Amber Heard here, and it's kind of weird, because do we believe that her credibility, her cachet, her movie potential is going to fall because of this? Do you think that she's going to have
should, because Johnny Depp lost everything.
Yeah,
they took him off the Warner Brothers project, the Fantastic Beasts project.
Fantastic Beasts.
I mean,
Disney, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Like everything's gone.
She wasn't huge. She's known, but she's not as huge as he is. So he had so much more he had lost in this process. And now she's about to feel it herself. Even though it's not a lot, but she's about to feel some of the things that he went through at the beginning now.
Fook, what do you think about this? Because one of the things, whether you believe her or not, let's play devil's advocate and let's just say we believe everything she says. How do you feel about her body language? Her body language was the most thing that was disturbing to me. With all of the allegations that you said, the nonchalantness, the rolling the eyes, the like her whole just mannerisms, I think didn't help her either.
Well, I wonder if she did this out of malice or spite or animosity. I do wonder if that could be one of her motives. But her body language in the video I seen in the news article, she was like nonchalant and relaxed. She didn't really have much expression on her face. It kind of seems like she knew what was coming.
Except when she wanted to cry without the tears that she couldn't produce. And one of those acting coaches, they brought up an interview from one of the acting, I think it was a casting director actor, don't quote me. And they were like, Amber Heard is terrible when producing tears when acting. And so we saw the same thing on the it was like an onslaught of, I was like, make the bleeding stop. She said Warner Brothers did this. They'd have Warner Brothers on, and they're like, absolutely not. She'll say,
I think part of it, I don't know. I think part of it could be is like, in a way, she's kind of over it. Because if you really think back, they were divorced in 2016. And then she did an interview in like 2018, 2 years later, didn't even mention his name. And then someone decided to kind of blow this up. And like, that's how it all started.
No, usually when you're over things, like you don't double down on them. Like usually when you're over things, you want to be done with them. You don't like double down and be like, oh no, I'm sure this happened.
He had this trial earlier, in London or somewhere, and now we back doing this all over again. So I'm thinking it's like,
we got to remember, it's self-inflicted. We talking about what we saw in the public eye. She didn't drop it because she kept doing things behind that stuff that we don't see in their everyday lives. And that's what was getting back to Johnny. And that's why he came back and pursued it. He licked his wounds back then, but things kept coming up. Things kept coming up. Like the videos of her having men in the penthouse in the elevator while I'm on. Yeah. It's just.
Yeah. And
think he didn't have any women?
In the article, it did say years. In the article.
No. I'm not saying he did. First of all, again, that's that thing again. Now, what I can only judge somebody off their history. And when all of your exes come out and say, yes, he's a drinker. Yes, he does drugs. No, he doesn't put hands on people. He's the most caring person that I've ever been with. He doesn't cheat. When everybody you've ever dated is singing the same song, even the ones that don't like you anymore, when people don't like you, they don't tend to come to your aid.
That's right.
I
think she was more with the nonchalant. I think she felt entitled. I think she believed that because she's bringing this up and this is in the public eye, 9 times out of 10, you're going to, and if you got your stuff together, it's going to go towards the woman's side. And
she said, "Who's going to believe you? Who's going to believe this?"
Exactly. But I blame her lawyers for not coaching her right on the stand. I blame her, her lawyers, because didn't she fire her publicist? She fired her.
No, because the lawyers weren't all the way there either. Because when we came up to this, what was it? The Amica cream. They kept asking her about Amica cream. This Amica cream that you didn't see the scars, so she could have covered it up with Amica cream, which is like a professional movie studio like cream or whatever. They didn't even pronounce it's arnica cream. They didn't even pronounce the brand name right. They just Google searched something and just went with it. The lawyers weren't even up on anything.
You remember the makeup research? What was the company? The makeup they showed. The company came and said that makeup wasn't even out yet.
Come on, bro! Like, make it make sense. The math is not mathing.
Do you remember when her lawyer was like,
"The math is not mathing."
The math is not mathing, yo.
I remember the part where her lawyer was like, got a little. She's like, "I'm really, really trying." Wait, your witness is on the stand. Why are you frustrated? You're frustrated with your own.
I'm telling you, if you're ever having a bad day, just watch Jason Momoa's testimony. You show me.
Oh my God! Did you guys watch it?
We can
I didn't see that one.
If you're having a bad day, watch that. Please, you owe it to yourself. Just watch it. It's the funniest thing you'll ever see.
I thought it was fake at first.
Me too.
Because it was so ridiculous. Did y'all watch it? Did y'all?
Was it animated? Was he like over or something?
No, he was on camera. He was on a webcam.
He came on and he's like, first of all, he was like, "Oh, I didn't think we were starting. Hold on, perfect." He's like, so they're like, "Mr. Momoa, you know Amber Heard?" He goes, "Yes, I do." Hi, Amber. The lawyer said, "Don't talk to her." He goes, "So you guys know each other from working on?" He said, "Where do you know her? From working with her on Aquaman. So you know each other as actors?" And he was like, "No, as janitors." No, he kept doing this. Laugh, and it was just like
crazy.
Yeah, and then he said, "Did you ever feel in danger with Miss Heard?" He's like, "No." Well, let me rephrase that. One time we were in the water and it was just us, and Amber pointed and said, "Look at that brown fish," and that was. He goes, "Well, what's wrong with that? I'm not following." Well, if we were in the water, any wildlife would have been digitally put in there, so it wasn't any brown fish. You know, so what was it? It was Amber's turn. Ah!
Oh my God.
It wasn't until that moment. I swear, it wasn't until that moment that I realized that Amber's like recent big movie, her DC check, was with him. It wasn't until that I was like, "Yo, this is your movie, bro. This is your co-star."
Guess who got her that role?
We know. A lot of her roles after that came from networking through him.
You know what? I hate to dump on her, but this is the thing I say in life.
Did you just say dump on her?
Yeah, we know that was part of the trial. You know, did you just really put that in there? Because we know that was part fecal matter in the bed.
Your wounds are self-inflicted. I'm sorry. I mean, they're self-inflicted wounds. They are. You know, they are. You would have done better as painting him if you said, "My life with Johnny Depp was hell because he's a drunk and an alcoholic or a drug abuser." Many people would have said, "Yeah, got it, seen it, done it." Yeah. But when you start putting things that aren't true or representative of that person, that's where the defamation comes in. She wouldn't have lost that case if it was just about him being a drunk and just about, like he pointed out, she recorded a video of him beating up the cabinets. All of her evidence is him beating up something or him having puke on him. Or first of all, the mistrust of your spouse taking your most embarrassing moment pictures and sending them to people is one thing, is telling right there.
Right.
Okay.
It seems like she like she went into that marriage clearly knowing that it wasn't going to work.
Right, because where's all of you were so busy recording everything. So when he came in the house and said, "I'm gonna beat your ass," you didn't think to record?
Right. She was too busy trying to beat him and provoke him to do something.
And trying to make sure that there's a restraining order for him from the dogs.
Go ahead.
One thing I know about domestic violence perpetrators is that they isolate their victims away from like their loved ones and friends. Yeah. So so the victim don't have a support system. Right. Know? So did Johnny Depp do that?
Not at all. You even talked about her going with her friends to Coachella, like having a whole weekend away. I mean, like
her sister was always there. His friends were there. Her friends were there. Like, you know, when here's the thing too. Women and men who have been physically abused repeatedly, you know what they don't do? They don't provoke their abuser. Like if your husband's been whooping your ass every time you come home, when you come home, she doesn't go, "You're a terrible person. Nobody likes you." Like they don't do that.
Not at all.
Even in the arguments, there aren't any like arguments. You know, the video recordings of them like arguing back and forth about who. There isn't much argument when it comes to like your domestic abuser. It's like generally do what I say or catch these hands.
Yeah, but with the audio that they played, everything you heard with audio, it was her that was being most violent.
Well,
him trying to get away.
Sean Ron Lee, you don't find that funny that it's crazy that all the audio evidence that she and her team put into evidence was all damning of her.
You know what? I find it damaging because she fired her. What is it? Those people that help you clear your name, because she was still nobody was believing her. And then the people that she should have fired, like her lawyer, she kept. So it didn't make any sense to me. It seems like, me personally watching that, it seems like she might have been on some type of drugs.
Wait. Are you talking about the mysterious sniff of the napkin? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I watched the video where they showed the napkin holder never moved from its position the entire time she was up there, but she said, "Yep."
Well, put it on out there, Sean.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. You cannot make this stuff up.
You can't, bro. Like, it is crazy.
But that tells you that just because you got a lot of money doesn't mean that you got a lot of common sense. And obviously,
common sense ain't common.
It ain't common. Exactly. And she should have just hired the best people, kept them out. But the thing is, the 2018 op-ed with Washington Post, she didn't think that was going to be coming right back to him. And because everything she wrote in there seemed like it was against him.
She did. Well, she did, but she didn't care, because you got to remember what she said in the video. No one's going to believe you. When you think your story is 100% solid proof, no one's going to poke holes in it. You were an abused woman. Believe them when they tell you. She thought that, and I don't mean to reiterate. I always remember this. When I was like 24 years old and I was a soldier at Fort Hood, Texas, we used to go to this club. This is way back in the day, early 90s. It was called City Lights. I mean, late 90s. I'm making myself older. And it was predominantly black club, right? Predominantly black. So we go there, we dance. And it's very hard to get a sister to come out the club and follow you to your barracks, right? It wasn't the easiest thing to do in the world. But across the street was a club named Oz. And let's just say there's about 3 or 4 black people in there, and the rest were of other persuasions. So you'd always go over there afterwards to try to get somebody to get in the car. So one night, me and 2 friends, we got this Caucasian girl. Now, I'm saying the race to show you the makeup, because where we are in Texas. And we went back to the room, and, I'm a kid. It was dumb. We all had our fun with her. And then
Lord, did you just put that out there for real?
Yeah, for real. But she wasn't drunk. It was willing participant.
You're all gonna be deposed after this.
willing participant. But here's the thing: as I got older, I thought about it. That could have turned out very bad. I'm in Texas in 1999. What if this Caucasian chick would have said 3 black guys did A, B, and C to me? Would anybody have believed that it was consensual?
Right.
Of course, not in the military.
Right.
Not in Texas.
No, not
in Texas.
Yeah. So it's that thing of, you need to, I don't care if it's a man or a woman, if somebody brings any type of abuse to you, you need to believe them, but you need to verify.
Correct. Yeah. I'm gonna listen to you, but let me get some other points and facts out of it before I make my last decision.
So what if it's, Tila, what if it's like your best friend that came and told you, said, my boyfriend or my husband hit me upside the head? Are you going to try to cut, you're going to measure twice and cut once? Just to verify?
I'm gonna have a conversation with her. I'm gonna say, well, tell me what happens. Calm down. Let's get a drink or 2. I don't know, whatever, depending on how she is in the moment, when she's emotional or whatever. We're gonna have a conversation. Because if it's her husband or boyfriend, I've been around you for a long time. If I know your character, if I know how you act with other people, I'm gonna have all that planned in my mind. Because I've always been that friend that don't ask me if you really don't want me to tell you the truth, because I'm gonna give it to you hard. So I'm
phrasing. I don't think
that's a real friend. That's a real friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know. So I'm gonna sit here and say, so tell me from beginning to end, and then I'm gonna pay attention to everything that's being said, and then I'm gonna ask those tough questions, right? Okay, so what happened from here? And then if we need to go and do other things, I'm gonna be right there with her, but I'm gonna make sure I'm not gonna come to any conclusions. But if you know your friend like that, you would kind of know if they're lying or not, because there will be maybe some history, but then you do have some that kind of keep things behind, nobody knows anything behind closed doors.
Right.
So I will pay attention, because sometimes looking on the outside looking in is not as good as what people think it is sometimes. But I will listen to her and then get all the facts first.
Sean, I'm Siobhan today, okay? So Sean, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Did you, when this article first came out, or when this information first came out about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, what was your first thoughts? What was your first thought that came to your mind? Did you think that Johnny Depp had the capacity to put his hands on somebody and do the things that she said?
Well, off the gate, I was actually slow to the story, to be honest with you, but off the gate, I'm always on the like, I'm not believing anybody until I hear the facts or whatever. As for like both of them, like, did I believe she's lying? Did I believe he did it? I didn't put it past either of them, to be honest with you. I would have hoped Johnny Depp wouldn't have been that type of person, but again, I would have hoped the same thing. I would have hoped Bill Cosby didn't do what he did, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
So,
I didn't know.
Okay, Fook, I got a question for you. Do you think that Johnny Depp has a wrongful termination case against Sony and Warner Brothers for terminating him because of they believe that he may be bad for their brand?
Well, like I said, he's at high risk right now. His reputation is at high risk. So they want viewers to watch their production. They don't want to scare away the viewers.
Right.
It's very often that people don't believe women. Like, women, we're liars, we're spiteful, we're bitter, bitter. We're always called bitter. So we're something, and I don't know if Johnny Depp is capable of doing what he's accused of. We can't judge someone by their art, and we can judge someone by their art and their talents, but like character, people, Johnny Depp is a huge public figure, so he always have on a persona. And and when big artists or big actors or big entertainers are put on blast like this, a lot of testimonies follow up. Remember the R. Kelly?
Yep. I was just about to say that.
To open up.
Yeah, but
and then the whole 200 girls start saying like, yeah, he did this to me, he did this to me. There's even a girl who wrote a book on her experience with R. Kelly.
Everything she just said proves my point. Everyone came out of the woodworks to talk about their former relationship or their former friendship or their former association with Amber, and a lot of it wasn't pleasant. Everyone came out of the woodworks with Johnny Depp. All 200 people came out and said all of this stuff is ridiculous.
Right.
Yes,
reviews for him.
Yes, we don't know about these people, but what happens is when you find out the Bill Cosby, when you find out the R. Kelly, when you find out the Harvey Weinstein, everyone starts digging up the things that were said 5, 10, 15, 20 years when people were actually saying that these people did this. Not 1, 0 scintilla of anything came back for Johnny Depp over his entire career that he has been doing this stuff. Right. Everybody was unanimous in saying, yes, he loves drugs. It's Hollywood. Who doesn't?
Okay. Now that's the part I really was like, I don't put that past him at all.
Because if we're guilty of drinking and every now and then having something up our nose, I'm going to jail right now.
Okay.
So, but one thing I've never done is put my hands on people. So what we got to tend to do, though, is when
he probably did something like threw a phone at her or something.
But again,
only thing that he was guilty of is getting her and removing her away.
Now, wait, because I don't want to go past that. It's important what she just said. He might have threw. That's what we do. He might have threw. Number one, she's never ever stated he's threw a phone. And number two, again, all those people that came out the woodworks said he never threw anything. He's never raised a hand. People don't do that if that has happened in your past. Someone's gonna come out and say he hit me. He choked.
And he admitted that yes, I put my hands on her by pushing her to sit her down,
getting her off of me,
her away from me, so that I can leave.
You don't wake up one day as a 50-year-old adult and just decide you're gonna start beating women today.
No, in the article, he got his ex that he was with for 14 years before he met Amber. He had met Amber and they broke up. It said that, remember? And he got her to vouch for him. It said
what?
She said that he's not a violent person.
Yeah, they all said that.
Yeah.
But that's how society works. You know, they say
it wasn't
until proven guilty, but sometimes you're guilty until proven innocent.
And on top of that, it's the guy, it's the whole like believe women thing, and it's rightfully here. It's rightfully here because there's, you know, they've been unheard for so long, unbelieved for so long. So like, you know, we have to believe the women, but now it's become a toxic society where like some of them have been taking it to their advantage and, you know, abusing that.
Who lives in North Carolina? Y'all remember the I was ready to castrate them too. The Duke lacrosse players.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember that? The Duke lacrosse players, who of course they were all.
That was in North Carolina.
Yeah, that was in
North Carolina.
Was the girl? The girl was black, right?
Yeah, it was a stripper. It was a stripper.
I got it. Yeah. So the Duke lacrosse players were all white. She accused them of rape, doing all kinds of things to her. Of course, we drugged them for filth because it's 5 seemingly rich white kids did this to this black girl, defamed her and all that. Come to find out, she was absolutely lying.
I didn't believe her from the jump, just from certain things that I've known about other things going on. So.
I know, but I'm just saying. But see, this is the problem with the Amber Heard thing. For every one of those women that are lying, there's like 50 who aren't. That's the problem with the people who lie. That's the problem. Because for as much as women will say, you know, we're angry, we're bitter, we're this, we're that, we're not going to sit here and pretend like we don't have names attached to us.
Right. Well, that's what I said. Because everybody decides like you're guilty until proven innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, we don't know yet. But that's how it is. That's how you lose jobs, how you lose friends, family. Like you're saying, he lost a lot over this because people's like, I don't know who to. But why not just wait to see what happens?
Even the money he got in the court, like that money, he's not going to see any of that money. That's going to go to his lawyers and all this other stuff. I'm like, this man lost out on like 50 million plus. Like he lost out on a lot of bread. Most of this court was just for a public opinion, just to clear his name and say, look, I didn't do all this stuff that happened. He didn't get much. He's still like, I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to pick him up. Somebody's going to.
Well, now, but the thing that he asked Lee earlier, when Shanron asked about, does he have a lawsuit against these places? No, he doesn't, because you have to do that as a business. When Papa John said what he said, the company had to, hey, you got to step away. We need people to buy these pizzas. So if someone's been accused of domestic violence at the extent that he was accused of, I can't have you in this movie. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have people picketing outside of the movie. I'm gonna have.
Amber? Are they going to recast Amber and Aquaman too?
No, they're not.
In the trial, she did say that she filmed for Aquaman too.
Well, here's the thing. They came out. That's the thing about lying. Timelines and receipts. We always talk about receipts. When they had Warner Brother in there, they showed receipts. No, she had chemistry problems with Jason Momoa. I don't think he wants her there anyway. And they already started cutting down her scene, like right when the first one was done. They made her scene smaller, and then little by little, it was like getting to the point. Do we need her in there? And it had nothing to do with the whole Johnny Depp situation. She was trying to use that as an excuse. And people are looking like, well, you want to use that excuse. Do you know how much you just cost this guy?
Exactly.
And trying to stack things up. She tried too hard to stack the deck, and that was her downfall. She tried
later, because some things get forgotten after years and years, and people forget, and then they start over.
That's why I brought up. That's why I brought up to see if this was going to be like a landmark case where people, those lawyers that want to protect these abusive husbands, is going to and Keone, you explained it very well that they only could do it twice in certain situations, but they're gonna be like, well, remember Amber Heard, everything that she said. You know,
I feel like as much
as this person is not a billionaire like that, but we need to give him the benefit of the doubt and let this play out instead of being by public opinion or public.
It won't be a legal standing unless there's something legally in they're talking about that sticks out in a defense or questioning or anything like that. Overall, it's a terrible case to use as an example.
I think what I was saying is
they're going to appeal it. I guarantee you, some type of appeal is going to happen just because.
What I'm saying is that the court of public. What I'm saying is that the court of public opinion is going to use that. So let's just say that
absolutely.
Yeah, but the court doesn't care.
Well, no, not necessarily. I think the court does care about public opinion sometimes. Sometimes public opinion can sway the way that jury.
That's why they move trials to another city or another state.
Exactly.
Move a trial somewhere, so it's too many people.
The court as a whole does not care.
Yeah.
No, he's not saying the court as a whole doesn't care. He's saying like it can swing like the jury, like saying like, do y'all remember this? If the glove don't fit, you must have can quit.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why they'll move a trial if there's so much public opinion around it. They feel like, okay, we're not going to get the jury to believe whatever it is. They're going to be public opinion, not based on facts. So
you have to remember this though. We got to catch up with the times, and I know what we're talking about here. The days of the lawyer when you were innocent and getting you guilty because they could come in like, devil's advocate or To Kill a Mockingbird and give these passionate speeches to sway the jury and all of that used to work back in the day. That doesn't work today because jurors want to see evidence. That's why forensic files is so big. Juries want to see forensic evidence. What killed her was not what's in the gossip column. What's not what Johnny Depp fans have said in her. What killed her to the jury was the makeup you said you're using wasn't what it was used for. The other makeup you said you're using wasn't even in stock yet. The pictures that you provided, look at my eye, I was beaten today. And then here's a picture. Well, you were on Jimmy Kimmel.
You were on Jimmy Kimmel, huh? What are you talking about? What are you even talking about?
So, Sean, what you're saying is prevalent and used to work so good because you could be innocent as hell, but some lawyer gives some slick closing remarks and guilty. But most jurors have made up their mind. Now, some can be changed, but most jurors have made up their mind before closing arguments based on the evidence that was provided.
Right. And on the contingent that these jurors aren't coming in there with a preconceived notion that, hey, I'm coming in here thinking about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case, and I need somebody to sway my opinion otherwise. So that's what I was just that's what I was just talking about.
Help it because they're gonna think about, well, let's really pay attention to the facts that we may not pay attention before because of all the shenanigans that went on, all of the facts.
You also have to remember the stuff that comes out during trial is way different than the stuff that was, because a lot of people, there's 300. I always say this to Sean, right? There's 323 million people in this country. Contrary to belief, everybody ain't watched what's been going on with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp before the trial came. Everybody ain't we had to send out a link because everybody wasn't watching it and looking at stuff that happened before.
Like another doggone celebrity case that I got to go through for next week.
I think what most of us mean is like when we do open our phones, it's always like those of us who are connected to a phone. That is all we saw. You know what I'm saying? That is all we saw. Opinions about it.
But that was especially when the case started, right? But the jury's already in now.
Right.
And then that's why lawyers ask questions during jury selection.
Right.
True. It's what questions are you asking during that jury selection? That's important as well.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But you never know who's gonna lie, but they know how to finagle it, so they'll know. Yeah, so absolutely important.
I think Tequila's saying she always gets out of jury duty. I hope this is recorded.
You know, it's weird. I've never been requested to have jury duty.
Don't say that, Sean. Don't say that. Don't now you
like.
Don't,
I've never
don't say it. Don't. It's not gonna work. Don't work.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait. He gonna be like, John, Keone, I'm on my 6th jury trial.
Hey, Sean, you better go ahead and join the military because that's the only way you're going to get out of it.
And I'm damn sure not about to do that.
Remember how it worked? Remember how it worked in the military, Sean? When you say, I do not want to be stationed in Korea. What do you get the next month? Orders to Korea.
Stationed in Korea. Orders to Korea.
Keep your mouth shut. That's what it means. Don't say it out loud for anybody to hear it.
Oh man, that is crazy. It's my thing is like what my biggest question is like, what did we learn as a society from that trial?
I think it's.
I like that one.
I believe Tila said. I believe.
Hold on. I'm sorry, Sean. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying? Because y'all. Go ahead.
I said document your abuse early.
Absolutely, that's what it's taught me. Because if I ever get in a situation like that, or somebody like crazy like that, I'm turning on a voice recorder. I don't care who it is, because the amount of voice recorders.
Asked Johnny Depp at one point. They said, "What made you decide to start recording at this point?" And he said, "Because when she started stating certain things, and the other guy, I can't remember his name, was not believing me." I said, "Okay, well, let's start recording so that you can see what I'm talking about, because you don't have any evidence, because all I can hear is her and she's hysterical, so this is what I feel." Some people react off of emotion, not off of what they actually know or think is common sense. As we said earlier, it's not common.
Yeah.
So I like that one. Good one.
And to answer Keone's question, I believe that what I've learned on this, and I will just piggybacking off of Tila, as I stated earlier, measure twice, cut once. Listen to all the facts first before making an assumption. Because when I've heard, I don't really know Amber Heard like that. I know Johnny Depp, and I know his history with drugs and everything. So when I first heard it, I was like, man, there may be some substance to this, because normally when people are drinking and combining with drugs, there may be a situation where there may be some abuse. Yeah. Hey, it looked like he was frozen.
Change people's personality. Don't look like that. Don't act like you don't know what he's talking about.
No, yeah. Because you know what? I got all this. That's those narratives. These are narratives.
I've been around people where drugs and alcohol changes who they are.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day basis.
And you know what? I'm married to a psychologist.
That doesn't happen off gate. That doesn't happen randomly. You don't become violent while you drunk all of a sudden.
No.
Well, I'm just saying, but you have to understand. You have to understand what I just said. I said normally, not all the time, when there is drugs.
That's the part that got me. But go ahead.
Okay, let me change up there. Let me change up my
You're fine.
My soliloquy here.
You're fine. I get it.
Sometimes when people are drinking and there's alcohol involved, and depending on their demographics, their social status and stuff, there may be some hands being laid on somebody. And there is
and their personality and their history, all this. It's so many people just don't know.
I never put nothing up my nose, but I have drank. I drink and may smoke some of the devil's lettuce every now and then.
Enchanted grass.
The devil's lettuce.
I like these terms.
I can say that because I'm a retired military.
From the earth.
Alcohol.
Amen.
I am not a.
It's natural.
I am not a proponent of telling people to go out and drink. Alcohol does not all someone does who beats their wife when they're drunk is they're drunk and they beat their wife. They'll also do it when they're sober.
Keone, hold on. Keone, hold on. You've been in the military over 20 years, and how many times you've been out in the club and you seen this Yahoo over here drinking and think that they can fight everybody in the club? It happens.
You know what? I've had friends like that, and that same idiot will get me into fights when he hasn't been drinking. Okay, all it does is loosen you up and make you do stuff you want to do. That's why, when I've drank and I've probably slept with somebody I didn't want to, it's like, I'm not going to blame the alcohol. It just made
my life incarnate.
It just made it easier. No, the reason why I'm saying that is because we always, and especially, look, I was going to be a psychologist. I get it. We're always looking for the excuses for the behavior. And not just at the behavior. We got to find always these outside things that made you do the behavior. Your character's your character. You know what? If you're a person that's emotional, you know what happens when you drink? You get more
emotional. Right.
You don't because you're emotional. Now you want
to have people that know how to control themselves when they don't have substance in their bodies. This is like a alcoholic, an illiterate, people would never know that they are these things because they're functioning. So sometimes their inhibitions or whatever you want to call them, emotions, may not come out all the time until they get that substance in them. Because maybe they haven't done it before. And then that time they got that drink, boom, now we know. It's different for everybody. Everybody's not the same.
But to that point for me is like, if you, again, like I said, it doesn't happen all of a sudden. You're aware of this when you're on these substances. You're aware of this. So when you're in a relationship, when you're like dealing with somebody else, you approach it with that, wherewithal, if you will. Like you approach it with that, like, thing in mind. Like I know how I am. So if I haul off and slap a hoe, like.
Yeah, and I know who said that. I know I drink. That's
why Sean Ron Lee makes a good point in that. So if you know you have these things in you, alcohol should not be on your list of things to do.
Absolutely,
they should not.
We can't expect people to be responsible. Okay,
I'm for real.
For the good time, all right. So, but nothing good comes out of drinking. So,
some people get a little more happy and a little more joyful when you want to be around them when they get substance in them.
I can come up with a thing or two.
You until you get a little happy juice.
I can come up with a thing or two that comes from drinking.
If you were hanging out with Sean Ron Lee, I don't think he's gonna have one too many beers and then turn around and start smacking both of us.
I would have to put some powder in my hand first, be like Homie the Clown.
What kind of powder are you talking about? My dad is watching on Facebook. I gotta watch what I say.
Oh my goodness.
Ain't you supposed to be asleep, old man? Why are you over here watching me make a fool of myself?
Okay.
The live ended on YouTube just randomly. I don't know why I did that, but it's still going on.
Yeah, it turned off or something.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, but anyway, we still going. We got about 11 more minutes. Sean, so I want to make sure you understand. I wasn't totally this. I just when I hear normally, because I know people that will take any type of thing that you do and associate that with a behavior, like the behavior doesn't exist without that substance or without that thing, just to deter people from doing it.
That's true.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, I wasn't totally disagreeing with you. I just wanted to do that.
Oh yeah, I understand. And
some people use it.
It appears that this trial, the results of this trial, has become there's been like an avalanche of other things that I think is going to associate themselves with this, where I think that people want to look at this and believe that women have been lying all this entire time. And not a lot of people, but there's going to be those people that was like, you know what? I knew that women be lying about being abused and stuff.
It shouldn't be that way. This is just one particular incident.
Well,
that should be isolated.
All of them do not lie. You gotta know how to separate certain stories.
Right.
Tequila, there you go being nice again.
Yes, she lied. The other one, maybe no.
Tequila, there you go being nice again, Tequila. Say what you want to say. Oh, I'll say it for you. Those people who think like that are stupid.
Oh yeah,
you like Ron White. One of my favorite comedians, Ron White, used to say, "You can't fix stupid." Okay,
no, you can't generalize. I can't stand when people generalize things. Do not do that. Do not put everything in a box.
Yeah.
We know these, and you know what? The getting rid of Johnny Depp from these movies and all that. It's the overcompensation from Hollywood for not doing enough before.
Exactly.
With the Harvey Weinstein, with the Woody Allens, with the Bill Cosbys, with all of these people, with the Henry Epstein, all of these people. That's why I forget the comedian's name because now I'm drawing a blank. When he hosted, I think the Tonys or something, and he was just ripping them to shreds on, these are your friends. Look at yourselves. These are the people you hung out with. We heard these women say, hey, this person had done this to me, and nobody does anything about it.
And you didn't know.
Actually, I think Dave Chappelle had brought that up.
You turned a blind eye.
Huh?
And so you talking about the ones who were friends with them that people like, how didn't you know? Did you turn a blind eye? You were there? Are those
ones? Yeah, because I love watching the video of all the young girls at the Jeffrey Epstein party with a younger Donald Trump with his hand around one of the girls that looks like she's 16. I mean,
we got incidences like R. Kelly where what were the parents that like sent their child to live with them at 15 or something?
It's like, how
they would leave their home. Abruptly. They wouldn't tell their parents. They wouldn't ask their parents for consent. R. Kelly used to go.
No. Fook, you're right, but these parents were actually taking their child and dropping them off at driving them off and coming home.
You're both right. Both things was happening. You had kids that were teenagers being teenagers, sneaking out and going there. And then you literally had parents that would take their child there. And you had a couple parents that came out from that trial that knew it was happening, but they were getting money.
They were getting money.
So many sides to that one.
For $15,000, you taking your child down there to have things
done. And maybe a dream that I'm gonna give your child like a contract or put him on.
Oh my God,
not happening. Not happening. Baby. You're trying to send me to jail for real. That's ever. It's not an amount of money in the world that I would sit here and prostitute my child over some darn money. That's ridiculousness.
In that particular case, I was really upset with us at the court of public opinion because we were acting like it was a shock. We were acting like, oh, he did what? And I'm like, he did it before.
Wait, he married Aaliyah. He married Aaliyah.
Keep telling all this
in front of our faces.
Wait, didn't we also say, y'all, if we listened closely to the songs, we would have known?
Yes, it was there. He wrote about it.
Again, and then you go back, look at Aaliyah's first cover. Who is that in the background?
Her whole album. If you listen to the album, even her album. Come on.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
AJ, the signs were all there. The signs were all there, and we were Ray Charles to the BS.
Talking about we were Ray Charles.
No, you know who was Ray Charles? People who love the music.
I still love the music. I mean, he's a great artist.
See, I still step in the name of love for Tommy too.
Yes, he is a great. I always love the incoherent ramblings of R. Kelly in the later stages. I always loved them. What's that song, You Saved Me, when he just starts saying random things? I was walking down the shelf and I went into the store, then I saw some peanut butter. You saved me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I just stepped in the love name Tommy too.
That peanut butter kept him from doing.
Listen, wait, but y'all bring up a good point. You saw a video of this man and everybody tried so hard. Wait, I think his butt's a little bigger than the guy on the video.
Come on, man.
Like Boondock, you gotta watch the Boondock episode on that.
I watched that. I watched that. And then Dave Chappelle skit.
I'm just waiting on I'm just waiting on the South Park Johnny Depp Amber trial special.
Oh my god!
Oh my
God! Wait.
That's a great idea. South
Park.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. If you know South Park, like I know South Park, it's coming.
It's coming.
It is coming.
It'll be there next week.
Listen to me. South Park.
Hey, you know what? And Johnny may do one of the voiceovers.
Now that would be hilarious.
You know, but when things like this come out, what you can also do is, if you go back and watch interviews pre the drama, and you listen to people, I know we say people get into character in movies, but if you listen to people in their interviews, you can kind of see stuff. If you're watching those interviews, you can tell when it's authentic, and you can tell when they're just saying stuff. And again,
that's why in her first interview, she didn't say any names. She was just trying to draw attention to see if anybody would bite. And then when somebody bit it, she took it.
I'm talking about interviews even before she even met Johnny Depp. Before any of this, if you go back and watch mannerisms and the way people talk and what they talk about, and then again, I'm going to keep hanging my hat on this. All this stuff has been out for a while. Where are the people that were abused by Johnny Depp? Because the people that were abused by Amber Heard showed up.
Like I said,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
You're right. And different ways together didn't work. She provoked and pushed. It's almost like she had an agenda. It's almost like she had something.
It's almost like it was calculated.
Do you think she did it for publicity or fame?
Something.
And that brings it back.
That's what I never understood. He is helping you build your career. Why would you tear this man down like this? This is not going to help.
And that brings it back to, what is your final thoughts on this? What is your final thoughts on this Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp, or Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case? Sean, what is your final thoughts on this? I
mean, I just think, again, analyze all of the facts, get the facts, make sure they're facts, not just hearsay, before, you jump on a train of, this person did this person did that. And like Fuchs said, I am recording everything, especially if I'm in the public eye. I am recording everything. And also get Johnny Depp's lawyer, because when I tell you that's about the best prosecuting I have ever seen in my entire life, get Johnny Depp's lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. And Tila, what is your final thoughts?
I'm gonna keep it real short, because what I said is what I said. And all I gotta say to the people out there, cut the cap. Cut the cap.
There you go. Fook, what is your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, if you're going to put someone's reputation on the line, if you're trying to, especially if you're trying to sabotage it, you just have to be, you're sabotaging yourself. You're sabotaging yourself if you're not displaying integrity, because the truth is going to prevail, Gotcha. And yeah, especially don't lie about abuse, because it just makes other survivors, it silenced them even more.
Yes. Good word. Thank you. Keone, please, your final thoughts.
My thing is, it's almost on the line of what Fook just said. If you're going to say things about someone, whether it's in a friendship or relationship, make sure your shit clean.
Period.
On your side, because I keep receipts. Okay. And everybody watching this, the one thing, if you haven't learned anything from the trial, you better learn it from this episode, is you need to keep your receipts, because that's the thing. And forensics these days can tell when somebody has doctored receipts. Amber, apparently she doesn't watch Forensic Files. And then get your lies together. If no one forced you to say you're going to donate all this money to these charitable organizations, and then when you get your $7 million, you not only did pay them, you used the excuse of, well, I'm getting sued, so that's why I didn't pay, but you didn't get sued till 13 months later. So it's just, be a better liar. If you're going to be a liar out there, Be a better liar.
Just do better at lying.
Be careful who you build with, because they're gonna take that structure with someone else. Like,
because I know Johnny Depp wishes he could go back in time and just not done that.
He literally left a 14-year relationship for her.
Yeah. And my final thoughts is,
wait, hold on. I'm sorry, because I know and Sean's a guest. When we do final thoughts, we usually don't interject, but that's okay. It's fun.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. And that goes back to my thing. I left a 14-year relationship for you, and that person who should be bitter came to my defense. That tells you how much I didn't do that shit.
Right. Right.
Preach. Preach, brother Aaron. Preach. My final thoughts is that I keep on saying it all the time as far as looking at the case as a whole. Measure twice, cut once. Look at all the facts, and at the same time, if you're doing dirt was going to be thrown up on you. You know, when you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. And that's what happened here. I want to thank everybody for joining. I want everybody to like and subscribe, and we are out of here. Thank you.
I want to give a last note. Sorry, guys, that the YouTube cut off late. Those who are watching on Facebook, what we're going to do is ask Sean, what is he cutting twice and measuring once? Because he sounds like he making some good shit.
Oh.